Alrighty, welcome back. It is a Thirsty Thursday edition of Liquid Lunch. I'm sure you are thirsty for all points of view, which we bring you every single day. Neat, dirty, sometimes on the rocks, always straight up. Zen is trying a little bourbon right now, straight up because we're out of ice, but we're going to mitigate that situation shortly. Thanks for tuning in on this Thirsty Thursday. Dow up 200, Bitcoin up 2,800. Wow. Nibbling right up against 39,667. Didn't break 40, but I'll tell you this. When they break these like big round numbers, like, you know, Bitcoin, it like bounces up against 30,000, 29.5, 29, and it comes down 29.2, 29.8. When it goes through 30, it brings in like a whole nother computer program worth of buying. Like there's an algorithm out there that says, well, if at 29, don't buy. But if break through 30, buy. You use
this algorithm?
Well, I'm giving you the most simplest form.
And are they accurate?
Well, it's just the way these machines work, that some places these round numbers are new resistance level. Like it trades up to a round number because it doesn't want to break a new or recent high, and it comes back down. And then when it pops through, it's like, all right, maybe it is going to 40, and then there's a chase on it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So. And Bitcoin tends to, when it breaks through the next level, to fiddle around for a couple days and then rocket again. So at 39,966 here, I think it breaks through 40. It could go right to 50.
Wow, guys, let me tell you, if there's anybody that knows about Bitcoin, it's John Tobacco. I would definitely come for a consultation if I was anybody looking to invest in cryptocurrency.
Okay, well,
you seem to be the man.
I don't do consultations.
You know what I'm talking about, John.
We have to do a mea culpa right now. My very good friend, David Eisenbach, joins us. I have been giving him a significantly hard time for the last couple of months now. That's how long it took to settle the 2020 election. But David did tell us in his sage, prophetic way just a couple months back that it's over. And now I have to agree with you and eat a little humble pie, my friend. You were right on the money.
It's over. And it was irresponsible of you and Burnett and everybody on Newsweek, Newsmax, and people on Fox to repeat the lies that this election has been stolen. And it was those lies that helped precipitate what we saw yesterday, this shameful acts of violence that went to the core about the sanctity of our presidential election process and our democracy.
Dave, let me just say this. Number one, the only thing people hate more than a sore loser is a sore winner. So you don't have to rub it in anymore.
I'm not rubbing it in.
I mean, by piling on and talking about,
I want you to take responsibility for what happened yesterday.
All right, but you're tremendous. You're tremendous.
You put out those lies, and all these Republicans that are wringing their hands today, saying, "Oh my goodness, this is un-American. It was their fault.
It was our fault."
Okay. That's what happened.
You know, you're such a brilliant scholar. He's a professor at Columbia University, the esteemed Columbia University, candidate for New York City public advocate.
Don't try to butter me up.
But yet, at the same time, you let that be, diluted in some ways by basically conflicting your own self. When they were occupying City Hall in New York City and they were looting and rioting and everything, you did denounce the violence, but you said it's mostly peaceful. You said it many times, mostly peaceful, right? So you have 250,000 people there. Maybe, 200 people actually breached the perimeter, got inside, and caused law enforcement chaos, which is ridiculous. I agree with you. But wasn't it a mostly peaceful protest, Dave?
I'm shocked that there wasn't more violence. I'm shocked by it.
Right, because there was no Antifa or Black Lives Matter there. That's why there wasn't more violence. But when it's here, they say mostly peaceful. Stop it. You're so ridiculous. Now a few bad apples want to kill a whole movement.
Because they were mostly white. Had this been a Black or Latino mob, you would have seen mass violence on the part of the police, which is something we've seen repeatedly.
So the police would have shot more people if they were blacks and Latinos that were storming the Capitol.
100%. And they definitely would not have gotten through.
I would have to agree with you, David. Although I still can't hear you, I'm trying to follow as much as I could.
I would have to
They wouldn't even got close.
Well, Capitol, the police would have been keeping them away.
All right. I mean, I'm sad because I feel like you've become more zealous in your time away from the campus? When you were on the campus, at least you were objective.
What's happened over the past year with all these protests? Look at what happened with Lafayette Square, right?
How about when the Black Lives Matter and Antifa took over a precinct
and cleared peaceful protesters? Do you think that if we had anything similar yesterday, that they would have gotten up the stairs into the Capitol building with the police, by the way, moving the gates to allow them in? Right. And then once they got in, they could just run around the place and then just walk out without getting arrested? Do you think if they weren't a bunch of white guys that would have happened?
Dave, do you know, I'm not sure if you know this, but in the law enforcement in Washington, D.C., it's really whacked out. Okay, you got the Capitol Hill police, you got the Secret Service police, right? You got all this other stuff. These, the police that you're saying, well, they opened the gate for the whiteys, right? The police in the House of Representatives, they don't report to any law enforcement agency, including the Secret Service. They report to the House of Representatives Security Detail, which is run by Nancy Pelosi. So if someone opened the gate and allowed the mostly peaceful protesters access, it was on Nancy Pelosi's watch. So why are you screaming at the protesters?
Well, I'm screaming at the Capitol Hill police. And you're right. I think that there's a lot to blame to go around in terms of who manages the Capitol Hill police. I mean, it wasn't like we didn't expect this. This wasn't telegraphed. Donald Trump didn't say in a debate that he wasn't going to respect the peaceful transfer of power. We all knew this.
You agreed with me on something, so I rang the bell.
You know, I can't hear, but I know that was a good moment.
At the rally, right? Of course,
David, can I ask you a question?
Be trouble. And how the Capitol Police did not see this coming, right, is beyond me.
Poor planning. Go ahead, Zen.
Okay, Dave. From your perspective, if this had transpired here in New York City, do you think that we would have had an entirely different rollout of security preparation if we knew that there was going to be a rally of this magnitude and this amount of people coming, even anywhere close to the Metro City tri-state area? It would have been a much different preparedness. Would you agree to that?
Without question. The NYPD
so why
was all
not in Capitol Hill?
The George Floyd protest this spring. And in many cases, way more aggressive than I would like to have seen. That would never have happened in New York City.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was in all parts of the zone yesterday, like the VIP, in the wide open with all the people in the park, Washington Monument. I was everywhere, right? And the police had a great presence on the perimeter. There were like, maybe 12 blocks that were all cordoned off. You couldn't drive in there. You had to park outside it. And but inside the zone, like where people were wandering around in the, Washington Monument, the park, the Ellipse, and the streets, there was very little police presence to be seen. I'm telling you, I was there, and I was surprised how peaceful it was. I hate to say it. I know I'm not talking about the end when they went and rampaged, but for the most of the day, I was there from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock, wandering the whole grounds, and I didn't see anything. It was like the Summer of Love. It was like a festival. People were blasting music, waving flags. People had flasks. They were pouring drinks for strangers. Hey, whether it's a going away party, victory party, it was just kind of, to me, a beautiful, visceral moment of Americana. And then a bunch of hooligans have to ruin it at the end of the day. But the mainstream media and social media is now making like anyone who stepped foot in Washington, D.C. yesterday that once supported a president called Trump is now, some kind of insurrectionist or something.
Well, that's not true.
Insurrection. It was people exercising their First Amendment right, plain and simple. It got out of hand and it was an accident. If
the crowds were, half the size of what Trump was bragging about, the vast majority were peaceful.
No doubt about it. And I would say, I swear, I'm just walking through there, I would say the majority of the folks I saw there were husbands and wives, okay, or husbands and wives with some teenage kids, and, obviously predominantly white, but I would say it was people from 40 to 60.
Wow.
Who are like, that to me is right now the American working class. And from what I saw, people were kind of just there to either, pay their final adieu to a president or hopefully fight to the end. But, I watched people walking to their cars like,
Thank you for being on. I think that's an Ava cue over there.
All right, John, Davey, we got to leave it there. I thank you very much. I'm sorry I've been busting your chops for the last few months.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the Biden presidency next time. Enough of this election.
Yep. Next time I see you, we'll kiss and make up. We'll hug it out, and then we'll go back to having some fun. But you did agree with me. I don't know if you heard it, but you agreed with me once in there. So I rang the bell. Zen was talking, but at least we got one of those in. Happy New Year, brother. I'll talk to you soon. All right. David Eisenbach, professor at Columbia University, and also a candidate for New York City Public Advocate. We'll take a quick break. We'll do hour 2 in a little bit.